Thank you for joining me on another episode of SFN, your social justice network. Our topic is affirmative action and socioeconomic factors. We have had so there was a statement that was given to me, and this is a statement in regard to affirmative action. And I asked for a response on this statement, and we'll have that on another episode. But the statement that was made to me regarding affirmative action was, quote, "We have had race-based public university admission for about 20 years, and the Supreme Court in Students for Fair Admissions Incorporated versus President and Fellows of Harvard College decided June 29, 2023, not to allow the use of race to be a factor in determining the public university admission process. The use of race is determined to be a violation of Title IV of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment." Now, could one argue that this statement can be interpreted as blaming the recipient in this case? The mechanisms of affirmative action, without fully addressing the creators, real issues, or the context that led to these measures. Wonder. Are some in support of ignoring historical context and systematic inequities and inequalities? Affirmative action policies were created to address historical and systematic inequalities that have disproportionately affected African American students and other underrepresented groups. I want to thank anyone that comes on the show that has the courage to share their views. This is a safe space to come and share your views. And I agree when it comes to merit-based admissions, hiring, and promotions. However, we appear to miss the real issues limiting opportunities for Asian Americans. Ever heard of legacy admissions? Studies show the limited representation of minorities among staff and financial supporters, the wealth disparities, the meritocracy versus privilege, and policies that limit diversity and inclusion are far greater problems. These issues are the root causes for less than 8% of African American attendance at Harvard and Lowell High School. Is it fair to say that the statements that the person made are misguided? I respectfully apologize if I'm wrong, but I don't see the problem within his statements, especially when he cites people often associate affirmative action with efforts to end discrimination for people of color. But scholars say the greatest beneficiaries of affirmative action policies are white women, from college campuses to the American workplace. I believe we need to unite with the Asian American community and fight legacy and nepotism admissions that take spots from qualified students before they can even apply. We're battling each other through stereotypes and misinformation when the status quo continues to dominate non-merit-based admissions. What part can the Black community play in the Asian American solution? Because I believe our number would double from 8% to more than 16% admissions with merit-based policies in admissions, hiring, and promotions. Back to the issue. If non-merit-based admissions associated with race are a violation of Title IV of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, how does one see the solution when we live in a capitalistic society where those with wealth and power limit the opportunities at the micro, macro, and meso levels of admission? One could argue before minorities apply, most spots are taken. Fact. Children of current and former university employees receive non-merit admission and reduced tuition. That's the legacy admissions. Wow. The Black community does have similar views to the Asian American community, yet we may disagree on the strategy. I want to acknowledge the following facts. Affirmative action aims to level the playing field, acknowledging that racial disparities in education and other areas are the result of systematic racism and inequality, not individual failures or shortcomings. Despite the presence of non-merit-based admissions, Black students represent less than 8% of admitted students to Harvard and Lowell High School. And I would stop there and say that I would be in favor of eliminating affirmative action and in favor of eliminating nepotism and legacy admissions. If nepotism and legacy admissions were eliminated, we would not need affirmative action to get that measly 8%. Our common admission enemies are nepotism and legacy admissions. These practices often privilege students who have familiar family connections to the alumni, who are disproportionately white due to historical racial exclusions in higher education. Studies have shown that legacy admissions can significantly increase the likelihood of admission for related applicants, many of whom are white. For example, a study by Chad Knowles in 2021 in the Journal of Higher Education Policy and Management found that legacy admissions practices disproportionately benefit white students, reinforcing racial disparities. A few key points. More than half of all Asian high school students attend the top 2 high schools, more than any other race. And the ruling to stop considering race-based admissions was a product of Trump and his stacked Supreme Court, just like repealing legal abortion and women's rights. And the stat refers to California attendance. I want to thank all the hard-working individuals behind the scenes that make this show possible, especially Javon Giles. I'm Diane, and that's what's going on. See you soon. Bye-bye.